Okay guys, this video is about the New England Colonies, also known as the Northern Colonies. In your ISN, these colonies will be colored green. Just so I know that you are listening, I want you to clap your hands once. There are 4 different colonies that make up the New England Colonies: Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. As we talked previously the other day, Maine was not the original colony. It was part of the colony Massachusetts. Now, many people had different reasons for coming here to the U.S., but for most of the New Englanders, they had religious reasons. They were not major fans of the Church of England, so they decided to form a church in the northeast part of the USA. Their ideas were to make the church pure, hence why they started calling themselves Puritans. Their lives revolved around the church. It was the very center of life. All social aspects, everything, eventually came back to the church. Through town meetings, church leaders were able to rule the town and use political power in their favor. Now, John Winthrop was the leader of the Puritans. He helped the colony, Boston, along the Charles River become a success. Boston was the colony's first settlement. They based a lot of political decisions based off their religious beliefs. You could say the church helped run the town. Now, just like you guys, colonial kids also had to go to school. They didn't have fancy iPads or anything like you're using right now, but they still had to show up. Some colonies even had laws saying if there were 50 families, that required a teacher and a school to be set up just for them. That means there'd be like 5 or 6 different East Carter middle schools around here, if that still rang true. Instead of calling schools middle schools or elementary schools or anything like that, they call schools grammar schools or writing schools. Now, boys normally attended grammar schools, while girls attended the dame schools. They didn't have textbooks or colored pencils or nifty little ISNs like we have today. Also, students were a lot more respectful to their teachers. If a student misbehaved, a teacher was able to hit them or make them wear a dunce hat. Dunce hats were made out of white paper shaped into a cone and had the word dunce written on it. It was meant as a derogatory remark. You still see these in cartoons sometimes today. The physical geography there was beautiful, but the soil was just flat out awful. It was poor and rocky, and it was no good for growing crops. They were surrounded by water. They had the ocean on one side of them, and lakes and rivers all throughout the area. Even whales were known to be seen around there. Not in the lakes, of course, but obviously in the ocean. They had a very wide range of natural resources. They had many different kinds of seafood, which included fish, lobster, and whales. And when I mean whales, I'm not talking about the cheesy goldfish type kind. They also had plenty of forests, so they were able to use the lumber from there. Also in the forest, wild deer and hogs lived out there too, which could be hunted and killed for food. The trees gave them syrup, and also granite was in much abundance around there. I absolutely hate the cold, so the climate in New England would not be my favorite. There is snow in the winter, and I am not a snow person. As we discussed before, they had a very short growing season. In spring and summer, they were cool and comfortable, but still, it gets cold. Now, a big enterprise in the New England colonies was creating naval ships. And they didn't just create the ships, they created every little thing you could for a ship. They created the sails, they recreated the rudders, they recreated the ships themselves. Weaponry, anything you think could be put on a naval ship could be created somewhere in New England. The country of England knew this. They knew they could rely on New England for the shipbuilding industry. Since all of England's forests were used up, they relied on New England's forests to build the ships and all the naval equipment that they needed. Good job, guys. This wraps up this video on the New England colonies. I hope you guys were paying attention. Trust me, I'll know if you weren't, because I'm probably standing right behind you. Now be sure to follow instructions for the rest of the activities and enjoy the rest of your day.